The Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks come to town for the Matsu Miners home opener today, and Eagle River Chinooks come into today with a record of 1-1. Meanwhile, the Matsu Miners, it's currently their home opener, they come into today with a record of 1-2. Hello, everybody. My name is Jordan Swick, alongside my broadcast partner for this evening, Dan Collins. And Dan, the beginning of this past road trip, we're going to step aside for the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Gentlemen, remove your hats.
Welcome back, everybody. We apologize for that interruption. National anthem of the United States of America. But yes, Dan, anyways, the Miners come into today with a record of 1-2. They started off the season 0-2 in Kenai, Alaska, but now, as of last night, they ended up coming away with a win against the Anchorage Bucks. So tell us a little bit about that game.
Yeah, and quite the winner was. About time for those bats to start swinging. We knew it would happen eventually, and good job by the boys out there in Anchorage. A 7-1 thrilling victory, and they were in control right from the get-go, scoring 3 runs early on in the first inning, and then Justin Verlander on the bump for the Miners, the starting pitcher last night, who received a much deserved win, pitching 6 innings of solid baseball for the Miners to pull out their first victory of the season. And without further ado, they're ready and set here at Hermon Brothers Field for their home opener. Was slated for 4 p.m., but the umpire crew was missing in action. So they bumped it up to 5:30, currently 5:22 here in Palmer, Alaska. Looks like the Miners are still getting set to take the field, however, as don't want to milk the clock, as you said, Jordan, before we got on air here. You're ready to play ball here for the Matsu Miners home opener.
That's right, and getting the start today for the Matsu Miners is going to be number 17, Jacob Huey, a left-handed pitcher / first baseman from Long Beach State. He is an undecided major, and this season for Long Beach State, he went 17 innings pitched with a 5.29 ERA in 11 appearances, and which included 3 starts. So we're definitely excited to have Jacob Huey up here in Palmer, Alaska with us. And we're still missing a few pitchers, but it definitely helps to get another pitcher. So that will be the matchup for the Miners today, and I'll give you the visiting Chinook starting lineup at the second. Mason Mallard gets the start in left field. He will bat leadoff. Will Bass will be batting second. He will be playing second base. Hunter Vansaw will be batting third, playing right field. Will be batting cleanup and playing first base. Aaron Shackelford gets to DH today, and he will bat fifth. Colin Borst gets the start. He will play third base. Ben Hill, who bats seventh, will be catching today. Isaac Alvarez gets to start at shortstop, and Greg Poppy Listen will be getting the start. He will bat ninth, and starting for the Chinooks will be Nick Campy. And Dan, we were mentioning earlier on the last feed before we had to cut it short. You were mentioning that he went to an academy from where you're nearby.
Yes, I'm an Illinois native out of Chicago, Illinois. He is actually from Manteno, Illinois. I want to say it's about 30 to 40 minutes south of Chicago. Went to Kankakee Trinity Academy. That's the high school, that is. College at Olivet Nazarene University, where he so far has a career total of 8-7 and a 3.18 ERA.
So here comes Huey. That's going to be a fastball outside for a ball as Mason Mallard steps in for the first time today for the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks. It officially has been an hour and 15-minute delay here. As the next pitch is going to be swung on and missed by Mallard as the count moves up to 1-1 now. But we mentioned that this is a Miners team who came away with a win yesterday against the Anchorage Bucks. It was a much-needed win for this team as it got the bats going a little bit after they've been struggling early on. As his next pitch is going to be down in the dirt for a ball as the count now moves to 2-1.
And a win here for the Miners would be a 3-place tie there in the standings for second place. And it would only put them a half game out of the Pilots, who fell today in Kenai.
That's right. Or the Oilers fell today.
Yes.
Yes. The Pilots ended up beating the Oilers. Right now, the Miners are in the basement with a 1-2 record, but with a win over the Chinooks here today, we'll bump them up into fourth place. So the next pitch is going to be a called strike as Mallard thought it was ball 4 as he was running down to first base line, but he'll be called back with a full count on him. It's going to be a key for every pitcher here today to get ahead of the batters. If they get ahead, they're going to have the clear advantage.
Interesting to see how loose the Miners are here. Prepared for a 4 o'clock start they were. End up having to wait for an hour and 20 minutes.
Mallard sends this into the left center gap as that's going to fall in. Cutting it off is Madison Nickens. He throws it to second base after Mallard took a long cut and decided to head all the way back to first base. So it's going to be a long single for Mason Mallard as the Chinooks get their first base hit of the day.
Good read by Nickens out there in center, running that ball down. You see Mallard trying. He was tempted to go for 2 there, and I believe wisely put on the brakes there halfway in between first and second, made his way back to first.
And that brings up Will Bass. He will be playing second base for the Chinooks here today as he's going to go for a bunt, a drag bunt that is, and as he whiffs that, so an 0-1 count's going to be on him. Mallard over at first, he gets his lead. And Huey wants to check on with him over there, but nothing doing. Will Bass is product from Wayland Baptist University. This is going to be his second year with the Chinooks, his third year altogether with the Athlete in Action program. As he swings and misses here, so the count now moves to 0-2 on Will Bass. Huey sets. And the delivery is runners going. And the throw down from Roulette. It's going to be way high as that goes into center field as Nickens is right there for the backup, however. But give Mason Mallard credit with an 0-2 steal. Count now 1-2 on Will Bass. And the Chinooks have a runner in scoring position with nobody away. As time was called. Mason Mallard gets his lead over at second base. And the 1-2 from Huey. It's going to be swung on. That's going to hit all the way into the left field as Mallard didn't get a great read from that, but I don't think he was going to score anyway as the ball was not hit that hard, and it was in very, very shallow left field. So the Chinooks have runners on the corners. Back-to-back base hits for the Chinooks as Hunter Vansaw now comes to bat.
Not the start you wanted here from Jacob Huey and the Miners. Back-to-back singles, putting runners on the corners here for the Chinooks. And a little bit of an early jam early on. This is the first time that we've seen the Miners in this kind of a jam in the first inning. We'll see how the southpaw Huey responds.
Breaking ball called for a strike on the inner half of the plate on Hunter Vansaw, who will be playing right field today for the Chinooks. Over at first base, decides not to go, and there's a swing and a miss by Hunter Vansaw at the plate as now the count moves to 0-2 on him. This is a very important out for the Miners to get here. A strikeout or any kind of put out here would put the Miners in position to get out of the inning with a potential double play ball. But here comes the 0-2. No, a check on over to first base. Huey wanted to check with the runner Bass over at first. So we got runners on the corners, first and third with nobody out. Vansaw up to the plate with an 0-2 count. Huey decides to check on over with Bass over at first once again. However, makes it a lot more difficult to read the jump over at first base.
And something we noticed the Miners pitchers doing well this year, constantly making sure they're checking the runners on and keeping them at bay.
That's a swung on and missed. The batter's out, but the runner does advance to second base. So there's one out on that strikeout, and Bass moves on over to second base when the ball was in the dirt. So runners now on second and third with only one away, as that eliminates the double play from happening, or potential double play from happening, that is. So that brings up Ethan Whisker playing first base today for the Chinooks. Still scoreless, but 2 hits already for the Chinooks as Huey delivers. As this is going to be a fastball low. Huey from Long Beach State gets a start for the first time this season for the Miners. Ethan Whisker from Hillsdale College, as that pitch is going to be a ball. So Huey falling behind early on to Ethan Whisker. 2-0 now the count on him. Hillsdale College is in Michigan. I know not everybody knows that. I'm an Ohio native, so I've heard of Hillsdale College, but I'm sure not everybody else has, as a called strike on Ethan Whisker moves the count now to 2-1. An opportunity to the ball game with 2 runners in scoring position for him. And the 2-1 from Huey is a breaking ball right back up the mound, but it gets through. That's going to score 1, but Bissonette throws it on over to first base and gets the out there. So now 2 away, but the run does score from third base. That's Mallard, as the Chinooks get off to an early 1-0 lead over the Matsu Miners. So 2 away for the Miners here in the top half of the first inning. You get off to a 1-0 lead early on. Now a called strike here to the next batter who's DHing tonight, Aaron Shackelford. 4 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 The Chinooks are coached by John Groth. He's the head coach of the team. As the next pitch is swung on and missed as well. And it's a little interesting here. The general manager of the Chinooks, Chris Beck, is also the pitching coach.
Kind of guy it seems like they have over there.
You don't really see that every single day, but the Chinooks love having him as a pitching coach. As the 0-2 from Huey, breaking ball, not called. So the count now moves to 1-2 on Shackelford. Comes the 1-2. It's going to be swung on. That is going to be in foul territory, but making the diving catch is A.J. Lee. A.J. Lee gets the Miners out of the inning as he made a spectacular catch diving to his right in foul territory and kind of into the stones toward the third base dugout. So the Miners are able to get out of the inning, but they do give up one run right here on your Matthew Miners.